Hello, my name is Gabriella Cagliesi. I'm a professor of economics at University of Sussex.
Hello, I'm Mahkameh Ghanei from University of Greenwich, Principal Lecturer, Faculty of Business. Our presentation today is about our experience when delivering team-based learning to our students, both at University of Sussex and University of Greenwich. The presentation starts with a very brief introduction to TBL, the crucial element of this new innovative pedagogy, our experience for undergraduate students at University of Greenwich, and our adaptation for TBL online for both universities. We are more than happy to share our slides with you. These are our emails. Please get in touch with us. TBL, for those of you familiar with that, is based on 3 phases. Today, I want to focus on the 4 S's framework: significant problem, same problem, the specific choice, and simultaneous reporting. For more detail, please look at the website below. The reason we chose this new pedagogy was because of its collaborative and constructive learning. And because the students need to work in a group, they have to work on the same problem and come up with the same answer or group answer. The exercises are set sequentially, and therefore they cannot divide the task. It's based on backward design. Group formation is done by the tutors based on heterogeneous gender, ethnicity, and GPA. And it has to be a fixed number between 5 to 7 members, and is designed for diversity and inclusion. And throughout the sessions, continuous weekly feedback are given because tutors are facilitators. We have developed blog for Advanced HE, and the details are there. And the most significant element here is our findings for pre-COVID undergraduate students. BAME students perform much better from level 5 to level 6. And also between terms as well, term 1 and 2. And there were higher attendance and engagement, and the students' evaluation was very promising and very positive. These are some of our images of what we've done in the classroom with the students, the way we organized the sessions, their experience with escape room, and our weekly Mentimeters.
Now, given the heavy reliance that TBL has on group collaboration and interaction within and across team, we were clearly concerned how TBL could be implemented in social distancing time. Now, the challenge I faced at Sussex was that I implemented TBL with an economic analysis to macro course module for master students. And this was a 15 credit, not a 30, so it lasted only 1 term. I had not much history of pre-learning of students. I had a very diverse cohort in terms of ethnicity, in terms of international student and abilities. Clearly the challenge of giving an online delivery. And there was no previous experience, so no result would have to compare. I started with the module organization. So the teams formation up to the tutor were based on paper because I didn't know the student. And clearly I used, as Malcolm said, the criteria of gender, ethnicity, learning disability. I created 6 teams of 6 students. And I also talked to the student experience and student disability, so that to give a reasonable adjustment to students who need it. Then I was funded and I bought vouchers for the bonding experience and escape room online. And I redesigned the VLE to give lots of content in terms of TBL, videos, information, and a detailed list of tasks the student had to do every week. In terms of delivery, in time of COVID, I chose to have an asynchronous delivery for 2 pre-recorded Panopto lectures, 35-40 minutes, with quizzes, and then a student had to do 3 exercises for homework before coming to class, upon which I would base the IRAT, so the individual multiple choice questions, and the TRAT for the readiness assessment test. Then it was the synchronous part. So we met in a lecture for 2 hours, the online lecture, all 6 themes, and we started with question and answer for the material in the slides. Then would we go into the individual quiz done on Canvas, and then I prepared the TRAT quiz. Again, was done either on Canvas or using a Google Drive document. And that the student would go in pre-assigned breakout rooms, and then I wouldn't visit the rooms. They had 25 minutes, and then we had the plenary where they would share the answers, and then we used different tools like Kahoot to create competition, Scratchcard, Padlet, Google Drive, and Google Jam, and it all played very well. Then we have the seminars where the application for the bulk, the in-depth learning happens. So I had 2 seminar groups, each group had 3 teams, and they had the 3 tasks for 2 hours. A task was assigned each task at one time, and then there was a debrief and a discussion. And they were into pre-assigned breakout rooms, and I moved constantly across the room. And then there was a simultaneous report. And that's where I think I miss the element of face-to-face of TBL, because that digital world inter-team interaction is not as effective as the physical world interaction. So those images in the pictures, actually, I miss that atmosphere. So whereas I would retain definitely the asynchronous, and the synchronous lecture has worked very well, I would really hope to have a face-to-face next year for the seminar. This is the TRAT. I created the scratch card of the Kahoot. And the post-delivery, I tried to create more contact time with the student. So I gave a video on lesson learned at the end of every unit, a survey about the TBL, to have their feedback, and they gave each other feedback in week 5 and 11, anonymous feedback to the other team of the teammate. I converted office hours into study time to discuss exercises, past exercise, and then we would meet weekly for the Mac Cafe to discuss and cover event and news that we would use in the application exercises. The results, what I've learned and what are the results. The preliminary result, these grades have not been approved yet, our pub, it will be in June, is that individual essay and TBL, so the new assessment based on TBL is better than 100% TAP or unseen exam that was previously done for this module. And that the team RAT, the team quiz, is always better in terms of result than the individual quiz. So there is really a gain in working together. The attendance was also much better than last year. Last year, after the online teaching, so the last 3 weeks, there was a drop in attendance. This year was fantastic. And in terms also of learning experience of the student, they all had very positive feedback. In the evaluation of the course, of the module. They especially commended the VLE, the work they did together, the Mac Cafe, the study time. And I went and looked at the students' analytics, and it was very, very good. So it was very clear that the students were engaged, and they used all the material, a lot of the material in terms of average page views from Canvas. So I will keep definitely the asynchronous activities. I will keep the extra contact time, and I will keep the VLE format. But the most interesting result is what the students told each other through the teammate. So they had to grade them, the contribution of the team members through giving 1, 2, or 3 in terms of being prepared, in terms of interpersonal communication, and the average was very high. So all groups were very happy with their teammate, and they also had to give explanations why they had graded their team members in a certain way, and you can see that they were very happy with the effort and the preparation that the teammate had before coming to the class. So they recognized the effort, the preparation, the enthusiasm, the initiative. They recognize even very specific personal qualities, like being methodical, very rational, or the inspired the group, or being careful to small details, or encouraging the group to reflect. These are comments that you don't find very easily in teamwork. Right? So I think that is the atmosphere that TBL creates that makes this possible. Thank you. What I have.
Right. I had the same sort of criteria as Gabriella had for her course, so I won't repeat myself. But what we did was that a student had access to the material a week before. So this is a pre-study phase 1. Then that stage 2, they had to do the 10 multiple choice question on Moodle quiz. Then I used the Microsoft Team breakout room for students to engage in TRAT, which I didn't visit the sessions. They were entirely group activities, and everyone joined the class. And then we had group discussions and debates and debriefing. The second 2 hours was engaged in team application problems and exercises. Here, students were given a sequence of activities, tasks for them to complete as a team, and they were broken down into breakout rooms. And I visited breakout rooms on a regular basis to give help to assist the students to get the final results. And the other feature of this year, which we didn't use last year, was that the students were able to upload the activities or the debates or the results on a Microsoft Team module channel, whereby they could revisit the discussion and they could have out-of-class activities. And then twice a term, I had a student on student anonymous feedback, where the students are invited to comment about each other, how they group activity or group dynamic is working, what I've learned, their view about TBL as well. And this is a typical weekly schedule that we organized, 3 consecutive hours. The 3 elements is that the significant element is that attendance and engagement was way above average, which is very pleasing. Learning is that the students were learning in class and outside the class, within the group and individually. There was continuous feedback throughout the session and outside the session, because we were monitoring the what they uploaded on Moodle, and also the Mentimeter was trying to trace their moods and their feelings about sessions, about each other, about topic area, and everything else. This is a sample of what they had on a weekly basis. There were 4 groups, and as you can see, they were named after famous economists, and they obviously were working together, and they found the exercise quite fulfilling. The results are promising as well, like Gabriella's. There was better performance, class average was higher, reduction in standard deviation, and non-BAME students, obviously, they had a massive improvement as well. And again, lower standard deviation and higher averages. Also, if you look at the comparative results, because last year, due to COVID, halfway through the second term, when TBL was in full swing, we had to go online. So there is a reasonable comparison that I could make from last year, and it seems that this year's students have rise to the occasion, and they've done very well, and it seems that they have enjoyed this session. The group performance also supports everything that I have said and Gabriella have said. If you compare their grades in level 5, i.e. second year, with the simulation and overall results that they got in the third year, you see a massive improvement. And that again is a supportive of TBL as an innovative pedagogy for teaching applied economics. The student attendance, as was mentioned before, and was high, and also the grades was much higher for TRAT compared to IRAT. And these are some of the comments, very similar to what Gabriella's students have indicated. So it's the same response that they had. The only difference is that it takes some time for students to get used to not only online learning, but also this new pedagogy. But all in all, it has been a very successful endeavor.
Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
I hope you have enjoyed our presentation, and please do email us if you want to have more details. Thank you.
Thank you.
The last slide. Thank you. Bye.